maybe it was 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. I started dabbling in instruction. Did not gain much momentum, and dealing with ranges and all the red tape and the insurance and all that. And some ranges were trying to charge me like $80 a person per day and all of this stuff. And eventually the headache became too much, and I gave up, especially once we went into lockdowns, and it was just like, okay, I'm done. But I kept the lockback handle. And, I just posted stage videos, and that was about it. Follow people and watch their stage videos and all that Instagram stuff. But I've maintained the lockback.com blog, and it has gone through a few iterations. At one point, I was drop shipping, gun stuff and credit card thieves. I couldn't beat them, so I shut that down as well. But after I got my Grandmaster title, I started kind of leaning into it a little bit more and trying to publish more kind of educational content and whatnot. I've had this idea of having an online learning system, a drill archive and training plans and all of these things. I've had it for a while. And eventually I just let's do this. This will be easy to build. I'm a web developer. I build websites for a living. And so that was one of my hangups, where it's like, okay, Ben Stoger, he's got the practical shooting training group. And I was toying with my idea before he launched that. And then he launched that. I'm like, man, he can outshoot me. And he's been teaching for longer than I have, and all of this stuff. And then at one point I had this moment of, okay, sure, Ben Stoger, Max Michel, all these people doing all these training sites and whatnot, and, Patreon, all of those things, they can outshoot me for now. But I can build a better website than they can. So that's what I decided, is I was going to build a better website and put out my own information and all my own ideas and whatnot with that. So I started posting more about training and posting this and that and experimenting and tweaking, because I'm a digital marketer. That's what I do. So I'm trying this content and see what resonates and what formats, and after iteration, this type of training content is kind of caught on, at least as caught on as much as the Instagram algorithm will let it catch on. They really really suppress me, which is a pain. And I've been having fun doing it as well. So, that's also great. I've been having a lot of fun putting out all of this content and teaching people. And I've been getting a lot of great feedback. I've been going into training Facebook groups and talking with people, and I was using them for iterating on all as well, on communicating with people. And I was publishing videos, and somebody would have a question, I'm like, you know what, let me just record a video and publish that as a response. So I've got, at this point, hours worth of video that I've posted online in various formats, testing and tweaking and iterating and trying to figure out not only what type of content resonates, what type of presentation resonates with people, all through this digital medium, which then I've been working on leaning into more and more with lockback.com. Eventually launched that as a kind of a public beta version earlier this year. And I've got a drill library where you can find a whole mess of drills filtered down by skills. So, it's like, oh, I'd like to work on transitions. Well, click a button. Here's a whole bunch of drills on transitions. But it's not just here's a drill on transitions. And then this was another idea that I've had on iterating and talking with people, is like, well, how can I actually provide value? Well, it's a drill on transition. Here's drills on transitions, but there's a video there where I'm talking through the drill. Here's what you pay attention to. Here's tips on how to execute it. Here's tips on how you diagnose and how you pay attention. I'm going to be getting par times on there at some point, and it's really trying to help people out, because with I don't know how to train. Okay, I run the classic, let me just draw, click. Okay, do the whole casing on the front sight, click. Dry fire is boring. Okay, let me get spicy, and I'll do draw, reload, and one reload one. So draw, click, click. Like that's not dry fire. For anybody who's watching the video, I've got all my targets are behind me. All of these targets are on hooks. I can move them around. I've got movable walls right here. I create full-on mini stages, and I'm running around, running and gunning, doing all of this stuff here in dry fire. And so the more I talk with people, the more I see people wanting to train, wanting to get better, but they're going about it in less than efficient ways. And I can relate. I was there. I was there back in 2016, 2017, not knowing how to do all of this and wanting to get better. So I'm trying to provide as much information as I can on here's how you train. Not only like, okay, here's how you grip a gun, but here's how you run drills to be able to work on it and iterate on it and get better. And I've been having a blast with it.
Yeah, and I'm for those that end up watching this. I mean, I've got the your website up on the other half of the screen from us, and you've got a bunch of stuff there. You've got drills, drill sets, training plans. You have your own. I saw earlier you have your own par timer on there. If I click on that thing, that is loud. Holy cow! Um, but I mean that's good because you can hear it. Now you've also up top you've got different drop downs.
Mm-hmm.
And there seems to be quite a bit here. How long did it take you to determine how you wanted to set? It seems to me like building a website, other than the actual knowing how to program it per se. The hardest part is figuring out the format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put a lot of thought into that. When did I start? So, like I said, I had the inkling for this idea years ago, and I've got notes from probably 2019. It's like, hey, I could do this, and it just never really didn't go anywhere for a while. What was it? Maybe it was summer of some spring or summer of last year, 2022, is when I kind of started on it. Spent a while in notes, in planning, in research, and stayed in that phase for too long. And then I started building the site, started writing content, came up with the design, content structure, created the layout, designed it, developed it, built it, and all of that. And I kept on procrastinating on actually launching it. Oh, is this going to help people? Am I not? I mean, it's a fear of rejection, fear of not doing a good enough job, and all of that. And eventually, it's like, I just need to launch it, and I need to start getting feedback on it. And so I launched it. Right now, there's functionality on there that would be available under a paid subscription, but it's free. Just log in, and it's all there. As I'm filling it out with more content and all of that. And I'm actually going to be tweaking, and I'm going to be recording a whole mess of videos going over technique and having a little learning management system section there. And so it'll be guided, a guided online course that I'm going to put together and build out. Again, based on feedback that I've been having, talking with people who are trying to train. So the format is just going to be, here's all of the information on how to train, how to execute technique, and all of the drills in order to go forth and learn and iterate and get all of that stuff going. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's and again, you've got a lot. I didn't realize the so everything in here right now is free.
Yes, at the moment, it is free. I I'm gonna be working on these videos on technique, which I do have some videos on there, but this one's gonna be a little bit different format of going through in order of, let's start with the grip, then let's start with the index, then let's move on to trigger
Mm.
control and all of that type of stuff. So it's going to be a structured online course. And then I also am trying to provide virtual training on there. So just, hey, hop on a live call and we'll talk through whatever you're trying to work on. Also doing video reviews, submit match videos, and I'll provide critique and feedback on all of that. And then I also want to do a 3-month virtual course as well. That I haven't announced yet, so here we go. I want to do that later this summer, where it is going to be, or at least the current plan, tentative, subject to change, but probably most likely what it's going to be is 2 live video calls, group video calls a week, going through a little curriculum and just get up, talk. Here's drills, here's technique, here's how you do all of these things. It'll be competition focused, and so it'll be recorded videos that you can go back and rewatch if you couldn't attend. Submit videos for group analysis. So hey, submit a stage video, and we'll go through the video together and use it as an opportunity to learn. So it's going to have all of these a classroom format virtually, and
Right.
about 3 months, and so yeah, so I'm just trying to provide various ways that I can supplement my expensive hobby. I need I've got my first open gun. I need my match open gun. You need the backup gun, all of that stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
so
Now you also, we'll get back to your website here momentarily. Um, Couple of things though. You have, now people can see your web page, or I'm sorry, your Instagram page is up,
mm-hmm.
and you have a lot of short videos on here about training, some stage stuff.
Yep.
Are these going to be lead-ins to stuff you have on the web page, the
Yeah.
website?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do plan on having some tie-ins. Some of it has where I've done reels in conjunction with blog posts that I've published and stuff. I've done drill videos like, hey, here's a quick little drill on how to work transitions or whatever. Here's a link to the transitions page so you can find more drills on working on it. So I still publish stage videos. Still do that. They just don't get as much views, and this training stuff does get more engagement, so there is that component, but I also have been enjoying it, and I've been getting good feedback on it. So yeah, it's just a lot of different, here's how you train, here's what you go through in a training session, here's how you can run specific drills, here's how you can modify drills. That's another common thing that a lot of people don't realize, that there is a time and a place to take the build drill is a great example. Standard build drill, all alphas, 7 yards, and what you see time after time is people bang, bang, bang. Oh gosh, I dropped a Charlie. Okay, let me slow down and get my hits, and you're going to stay slow. What I absolutely love doing is build drill, 3 yards. Anywhere on target is good enough. Then you slowly walk it back. And so by modifying that and pushing speed, I just rip it out and like, oh gosh, I can actually run the gun that fast. And you start to see the recoil more, and you can see faster, and you can process visually all of that's going on as you're pushing speed. So then when you step it back to 7 yards, it feels slow, and you ultimately can end up going faster after having pushed speed, even though it's at a weird, absurd distance. Something as simple as just like, okay, get rid of the A zone. Anywhere on target is good enough. Accuracy, I've seen it time and time again. Accuracy doesn't dip that much, but speed jumps up quite a bit. Everyone's really capable of going faster than they think they can. I was definitely one of those for a while. I was the tactical turtle. Got to get my hits. I remember it was after one stage I got. I kept on being like, no, that was a Charlie. I need to get the alpha hit on there. It was a 12 target stage. I put 3 shots on every single target, and I had 3 alphas on every single target. And that was a little bit of a light bulb moment of like, I need to change something. This ain't going to work.
Yeah, that's a lot of time and ammo wasted.
Uh-huh.
On your website, it's all about training, but I'm curious,
Mm-hmm.
on your Instagram page, as I go back and forth here,
Mm-hmm.
you have, I don't even know what to call these things on Instagram,
Oh,
where
little
they're,
stories.
yeah, but I guess they're, I don't know if it's a story or groups of stories that are in a
Yeah,
category.
it's a group.
Um, but you
I don't
have
think
in
I've
there,
updated those in a while.
you have
Trying to
one in
remember what
there,
they are.
lessons from nationals. Now, do you plan on taking some of this type of content and putting on your
Mm-hmm.
training website?
That's a great idea. I started doing that one, and the algorithms didn't favor. Guinness, my dog is really pestering me for some attention here.
It's
Um,
okay.
um, that one I did, and I published it, and I was working my way through it, and then I went off to North Texas Open, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And then it was afterwards where I'd kind of forgotten about it and left it behind. I had some people being like, "Hey, that was great. When are you going to finish it?" And I never went around back to finishing it. I'd moved on to PCC for that period of time. It definitely is something that would be great to bring back. I could do match videos, analysis of my own matches, my own stages, and point out my learning process. That's something that I've been doing a lot this year as I've gone into Open, where I'm trying to. It's the same but different. It's very different because it's very much faster, but at the same time, it's just shooting is shooting, and it's just shooting. It's hard to explain, but like the gun just kind of chills out there while you do your thing and shoot. Um, but it's just faster. It's so much faster. And so I've been studying my videos, comparing it to videos of Siler and JJ and Travis Tomasi. I'm studying these videos and I'm looking for trends, and I've been doing a lot of analysis like that, and I've learned an absolute lot. So yeah, that is a fantastic point, and I should totally bring back that little series and format and publish more videos like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where, a spot somewhere on your website that would be very popular for people to look at, because it's something that you learned
Mm-hmm.
competing at the highest level match USPSA has against the highest level shooters that the
Mm-hmm.
USPSA has. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a probably a pretty popular item. Now, you keep saying how open is so much faster. Why is it so much faster than carry optics? You have dot versus dot. Why is one so much
Mm-hmm.
faster than the other?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a mechanical advantage with the firearm. We've got the compensator, big old compensator, and the frame mounted dot versus just the slide ride and no compensator. Um, the dot just doesn't move as much. It isn't an astronomical difference, but it still kind of is. It's
Okay,
really,
let me stop you there.
yeah.
So I'm going to ask a clarifying question.
Mhm.
10 yard open target. How much dot movement do you have on that target with an open gun versus the same target
Mhm.
and your carry optics gun? Do you
Mhm.
expect the dot to leave the target
Right.
with your carry optics gun or not? And what about with
Right.
your open gun?
Trying to think back. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the dot would leave the target with my shooting at least, or at least get up towards the top of the head. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then with the open gun, it's definitely not. So it is very much not. Maybe we're talking about yeah, actually maybe a heads distance worth of vertical travel. That's probably fairly reasonable estimate. And so the dot kind of chills there a little bit more, and the gun just hangs out there. I can point the gun at the target and shoot, and the gun just kind of chills there without a whole lot of effort. With a carry
Hmm.
optics gun, you're having to hold it on target more, and the open gun just kind of just hangs out there, and it does part of your job for you.
Why do you think
This
that is?
well, I mean, it's the combination of the compensator and the frame mounted dot. The dot is physically not moving back and forth, and the mechanics of the gun is helping fight to keep the gun on target. It's literally the design of the gun is working to keep it there, and it's while it's not a huge amount, it's still enough that it's pushing speed. And we're talking about tenths of a second. We're, even like thousandths of a second worth of difference. It's very possible to like, oh gosh, Lockwood did that bill drill at nationals in 1.23 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You can run it that fast, but you're hanging on for dear life, and I think there's a very good likelihood that he probably didn't see much of it, or he processed what he saw afterwards. With an open gun, the gun is working for you and helping it stay on target, and so it just shaves off those thousandths of a second, and it's only a few thousandths, but when we're talking about already in the realm of several tenths of a second, shaving off just a few thousandths of a second is very hard to keep up with. Um, easy example. Okay, draw to first shot in 2 seconds. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay, let's go draw to first shot in 1.5 seconds. It's a whole half a second off of your time. That's not, it's a big chunk of time, but it's not that much of a difference as far as drawing and presenting on target and what you're seeing. And just as you shave off every tenth of a second and get down to a second and under a second, 0.7, 0.8, 0.5, every tenth of a second, every thousandth of a second gets harder and harder to see and process and execute on. So it's not that much faster, but it's also way faster because it's that much harder to eke out every tenth and every thousandth of a second. So while I'm going through and working on these techniques, I get excited because I see something. It's like that presentation change to my that gun presentation change can easily shave off a tenth of a second with reasonable consistency. That's amazing. That's awesome. I'm or even on thousandths of a second. I was doing stage analysis, like, okay, let's say Styler's getting 0.04 second splits on me on a medium course. That's half a second worth of time in splits and half a second in open, because everybody's running these tuned open guns and we're all on the same playing field. Those thousandths of a second matter. It's just down to the absolute minutia of execution, and it's just so much fun to dig into and try and carve out every tenth, every second, every thousandth of a second that I can. So it's
Well,
not that
and
much faster, but it's also way faster.
right, but it also gives you that much more time to start to the next target, to the next shooting
Yep,
position, all of that. So it all adds up.
very much so.
You have 46 different drills. Are these just drills you've run across in other
Mm-hmm.
training classes or read?
Mm-hmm.
Are any of these ones that you've come up with?
So absolutely to all of that.
Okay.
Some of those drills are very much things that I've come across in classes. I very much am trying to respect other instructors and not steal their drills, and so I'm providing credit where possible. And essentially, where I'm kind of drawing the line is if an instructor online or in a public manner, a non-paywall manner, describes the drill of here's how you execute it, then I'm calling that fair game, and I'll publish it on the site. Um, very much giving the instructor credit. And if the instructor only published that drill in their book or behind an online paywall, then like, okay, that's their drill, and I'm not touching that. But there's lots of drills that are, some of them just kind of is just stuff that just kind of exists, and um, I wouldn't really call them like anybody's specific drill. There's ones that are definitely general enough like that. And then there are drills that I am working. I have designed. I have published some of my own drills, and I've got a whole mess of drills that I'm going to be publishing as well. I probably have just as many drills. You said 46 that I've published. Yeah, I've got easily that many drills in my notes that I want to publish as well. But I've been busy, and I'm trying to get some of these other areas of the site shored up and fixed and go, so, so I can start charging money and making some money to supplement my ammo needs. But definitely we'll keep on publishing more and more drills there.
I like that you can scroll down a little bit and like you have under primary skills 1, 2, 3, 4. 15 different categories of drills, and then you can click on those
Hmm.
and go there and like there,
Yep.
and there's primary hand only. You've got drills just for that. So
Yep.
it's very, very interesting how you have broken it down and you provide links to all of them.
Hmm.
Now,
Yep.
going back
You can also
to,
go to the learn section and all of those skills. If you go to the learn, then there's a skills link. So then that's a list of all of the skills there. So then you can also find articles, drills, drill sets, and all of that stuff for them as well. And I'm working on publishing videos and articles and everything, digging into all of that technique.
oh, well, I had a question. Now I don't remember what it was.
Sorry about
I
that.
have lost it completely. Oh, I know what it was. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't lose it totally. Looking behind you at your
Mm-hmm.
wall and all the targets you have there,
Yep.
it looks like you use a lot of reduced size targets.
Mm-hmm.
What would do you have like a favorite size target?
Um.
And the reason I ask is maybe this will help.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer 1/3 size target
Mm-hmm.
because in my garage, I can measure out 10 feet and I know anywhere beyond that point, left or laterally,
Right.
that's 10 yards. On that 1/3 size target, that's a 10-yard target. So I know exactly what a 10-yard
Mm-hmm.
target looks like. And then I can work it closer, I can work it backward, and I've got this stuff marked off. So I do
Right.
almost every single one of mine are 1/3 size target. Do you have a
Gotcha.
preference or?
Um, variety would be my preference.
Okay.
Um, I'm a very, very firm believer in the importance of variety in what we're doing. For those who can't see, all I think all of the targets that are in view are different targets, different presentations, different sizes, different partial types, all of that type of stuff. And they're all on hooks, and so I periodically rearrange my entire dojo. So I keep up the variety as much as possible. There's a training concept called interleaving, and so it's interleaving versus block training. And this is something that has been proven, or there's been studies done on it, and you can look into it. Interleaving, it's been done in basketball, baseball, math, spelling, all of these different types of things. And the idea is interleave the skills that you're working on. The easy example is the baseball study. They took a group of people that for one day all they did was fastballs, and the next day all they did was curveballs, and the next day all they did was slow balls, all of that type of stuff. And then the other group, they changed it up. The pitches were different every time. I actually learned this concept from Kita in her book Smart Move. Great book, highly recommend. And so with that, I try and keep up the variety as much as possible. Yes, there absolutely is a time to do block training where you focus in on a specific skill, but they found that when you interleave and you mix it up, you learn better across all of the different skill sets. So if you need to work on one specific thing, like you're reworking a specific skill, like changing your grip, okay, yeah, you'll need to focus in on that. But if you're trying to just get better, across the board, which we all are, then you want to change it up. Even, excuse me, Eric Graffel, the GOAT, the 9 time world champion across multiple divisions. He always talks about don't do the same drill twice. Like just straight up when he goes out and trains. Of course, he's got the CZ Gun Academy where he shoots like 1,000 rounds a day. He changes up what he's doing every single drill. I don't take it quite to that extent, and it does depend a little bit on what I'm focusing on. If I'm doing a general session, then I change it up and I do all of this variety. But even when I'm doing something like one of my morning foundation sections, training sessions, I'll do the same drill, but I change it up, and that's why I have all of these targets. Because I usually start out with trigger control at speed, gun gun on target. I think this is a Ben Stoker drill. So gun on target at the beep, pull the trigger, and you try and keep the sights stable. But I don't just do it on the same target. I change it up on every single target, and sometimes I'll even like change my stance into a lean, or I'll do just Blake drill, or four aces or anything like that, and I change it up and I change up my orientation on the target. I don't want to stand perfectly squared up on one target for 500 draws in a row. I'd rather just draw to a bunch of different targets that are all in a different orientation to my body. That is working on improving my index and improving my ability to engage any of these different target types. So I don't really have a specific favorite target type because it depends on what I'm working on. So my cop out answer, variety. Um, that being said, I also do have marks. I got blue tape, and I have yardage. I've got 7 yards worth of distance, long ways, and 4 yards this way. Although I do have some targets in my next room that I can shoot from some of these positions. So the majority of what I do use is half size and third size targets, depending on the distance that I'm trying to do. I have lots of. I'll do full size and half size targets on that back wall. So I'm doing 4 to 7 yards true distance, and so then it's 8 to 14 yards simulated distance, and then on my shorter wall, I've got mostly half size and third size targets. So it trying to keep up that variety on what I'm engaging.
Now, when you said they're on hooks, are they hanging from the ceiling on hooks? What do you
Nope,
mean? Or you have
they're
hooks on the wall?
Yep, they're
Okay.
little 3M hooks that are just a little adhesive on the wall, and then I've got little notches cut out of them, and so I can just pick them up and move them around and rearrange them, and yeah, and then this back here also has a target on it, but it's just a little wall made out of 1x2s and 2x4s, and I've got two of them, so I've got two 4-foot walls, and then I've got cones and fault lines and stuff that I can move around and create little mini stages.
Okay. Now that you said that, that reminds me of something you posted in your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Let me scroll down because it would look like a static picture. You had a ladder, and I say ladder, it's for ladder drills on the floor, and it
Hmm.
looked like you would.
Oh, yeah, I do have that. I haven't used it in a while. It's kind of funny. I follow some fitness pages, and ladders. It's the current trend to hate on agility ladders. Talking
Oh,
about how it doesn't really help with your agility is some of the arguments there. I used to have it out there, and I have a lot of different things that I do where it's like anytime I walk past. So um, I've got over here a club weight, and so whenever I go downstairs to top off my water because I work from home, I'll grab the club weight and I'll just be doing some grip strengthening exercises while I'm filling up my water and come back up. And so I had the agility ladder for a while, and I was doing agility ladder up and down whenever I'd walk past it to work on some of that stuff. But I haven't broken that out in a while. But I still use the same concept of incorporating things. Like there's some other stuff that I've done. I've done push-ups anytime I go to the bathroom. That one's or pull-ups anytime. That's a nice little trigger. So it's just I have different routines. Right now, what I'm doing is depth jumps anytime I go downstairs, which is you jump down a few stairs and then do a squat jump. Read online that that's good for explosive movement, and I'm working on my movement, and so I want to exit positions faster. So what are ways that I can do that? Well, stronger muscles. Okay, so anytime I go downstairs, I do depth jumps, and that gives me a handful of depth jumps every day, and that will add up over time, and it doesn't change my life, my daily routine in any way.
yeah, there it is. It was actually on your website for how to set up a
Oh,
dry
okay.
fire dojo.
Yep. Yeah. No, but
Um,
the agility ladder's still over there, just tucked in the corner.
but I do see where, I played football, I wrestled.
Mm-hmm.
I do see where that could definitely be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually gave me an idea. So I like it. I think that's actually a very good idea. Even the thing I really like about it, to be honest with you, is the fact that even if you don't have much space to work with, if you lay it on
Mm-hmm.
the ground, you can still make yourself put to,
Right.
use it like you would normally use an agility ladder and almost, I don't want to use the term violently, but rapidly, um, which creates a lot of movement in your arms. You could really in a 3 or 4 foot space
Mm-hmm.
get like 4 steps to the right and 4 different shooting positions. You
Mm-hmm.
know, go back to the left, go to the right constantly, and work on getting into position,
Mm-hmm.
getting your gun on target, keeping your gun on target.
Yep.
There's a lot you can do with that. I actually
Yep.
like it. I had never even considered that before.
Yeah, I do have little plastic soccer cones on the ground that I've been using for that type of thing. It's not, it's not agility ladder distance. It's what I do. It's a 1 yard, and then 3 yards, and then 7 yards. And so I've been doing movement sessions where it's shuttle runs. You run back and forth, but instead of reaching down and touching the line, I present, engage a target, and move to the next one. And so I've been practicing different movements. That was something that I noticed while I was studying Seiler's shooting. Is he definitely does a lot of shooting on the move, but something that he's really good at is he's posted up engaging, like, at national or world shoot. Like it was like a 45-yard open target, but still it's a 45-yard target. So he's got to sit there and get his shots off and then go. There is absolutely no creeping out of position on a target like that. But as soon as he calls it good, he's moving to full speed very, very quickly. And so I've been using these cones to do exactly what you were describing, going back and forth, getting the gun up and engaging targets, working on those hard exits, as they're often called. Although I've recently started calling them sudden exits.
I
I don't
feel
know.
like that's okay. I feel like there are so many different varieties of training you could do to
Mm-hmm.
make yourself better because in Christian's situation, he played baseball, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the fact when he calls the shot and then takes off running, it's no different than you made contact with the ball, you take off
Mm-hmm.
running. You know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
similarities to where the baseball is now helping him with his shooting. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I it's funny. I watch my from last year's Carry Optics Nationals, the visual start stage
Oh,
14.
uh-huh. That was a fun one.
It was fun, but even though I knew it was a visual start stage, when it went off, there was a delay from me
Mm-hmm.
taking off. When I watched the video, you don't really see it. It's not long enough of a delay that you go, oh my gosh, why is he still standing there? It looks like it came on, I reacted, I went. But in my mind, the light came on, and then I was like, oh crap, go. and then I went. Whereas I feel like, like calling the shot good, seeing your dot come, move from that
Mm-hmm.
spot is when you should be moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of visual things you could do to help with your reaction time to minimize that
Mm-hmm.
as well. There's a lot of stuff like that, and I just keep looking back at that agility ladder, that you
Mm-hmm.
could do little things like that
Yep.
that apply that you may not have thought of before.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. I've definitely picked up on different training methods by looking to sports that other than USPSA that have been around longer, so they've figured out a lot of these things.
Boxing, that's hand-eye
Mm-hmm.
coordination. So much hand-eye coordination. The speed
Mm-hmm.
bag, that's all that is.
Yep.
So things like that, where I'm not saying people should go out and use a speed bag to get better at USPSA, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying there's a lot of different things. If you could probably change it, alter it a little bit to help the
Mm-hmm.
game. That's all.
Yep. Very
So
much so.
when
Yeah, there's all sorts of different fun things. I mean, heck, like these shuttle runs. it's something that's done in every high school and middle school and in gym class. Well, just add a gun to it.
Yeah. Well, and I saw on your Instagram, I mean, I listened to Steve Anderson. I've been to a Steve Anderson
Hmm.
class. And as I was scrolling down looking for the non existent agility ladder in your Instagram, um, it's coming up. It's down here. It's right there, right in the middle. There you are on the old Steve Anderson dreaded treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing, I've tried. We have an elliptical, and I'm like, I've tried, but it takes way. My balance isn't quite there on the elliptical
Yeah.
where it would be on the treadmill. But maybe I just need to work on my core a little bit, and then
Yeah.
be good to go.
Yeah.
So
The treadmill's fun.
treadmill, shuttle runs, agility ladder. Anything else like that you use to improve your shooting and moving?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I brought out the club weight that I mentioned. I like this
Yeah.
thing more than grip strength trainers. You hold it out and you can do all sorts of different, you know, waving it around or this because this is working your muscle that I forget the name of it that's used to lock your wrists. So getting that going, all that type of stuff. This one's good. Um, I've got little hand weights as well over here that I'll bring on walks or runs or when I'm working out on the treadmill. These I think are only 2 pounds. That they're the heaviest that I could get without going into metal. So I've done shuttle run workouts, with these and bringing them up. I got another one over there, but going for walks is, you know, I mean, heck, this is what we're doing. We're running around and we're holding weights. So working on all of those secondary and tertiary muscles that are helping support the gun. I do that. I've got weight vests that I've done that I'll do workouts with as well. One of the things that Keita recommends is wearing a weight vest doing movement drills. Um, Good workout helps you strengthen the explosive movement muscles and all of that. But what it also does is because now you're raising your center of gravity. If you don't stop in a controlled manner, you're just get your torso is going to keep moving and just keep on going because you're not used to that new center of gravity. So it forces you to get lower and get your stance wider and control your entry. So just simple modification to any sort of movement drill like that is a great way. What else? So yeah, these are fun. Let's see, is this are these still charged? Um, no, looks like they're not charged. These are strobe glasses, and so these are for working on vision speed. And yeah, they're just they're shooting glasses esque things, but they blink. And so they flash on and off and cut off your vision, and you can adjust the speed. And so the idea is you run your training drills while wearing these, and you're reducing the amount of things that you can physically see, which is forcing your eyes to see more while you can. So it'll blink, every tenth of a second or so, and you're losing out on that visual data, so you have to capture it and understand it sooner while you're engaging targets. And I'll do drills where I'm just doing something, drawing, engaging targets, designated target, great drill, doing stuff like that. You run it a few times, then you put on the glasses, and gosh, it's hard. You're having to really really push and confirm and try and see, and then you take off the glasses and it's just like oh, I can see everything, and you're going and engaging and getting them faster. And I've done part time chasing stuff where I'm trying to get part times while wearing the glasses and struggling to get them, and then I take off the glasses and then it's just a piece of cake and I'm able to go way faster going after that part time. So that's a fun little tool.
Hmm. Not
But
recommended for driving.
no. But gosh, all of these, like, it's different types of targets, it's different weights for exercises. These strobe glasses are the only real kind of borderline training gimmick that I have. I'm just a big fan of good old dry fire. Your sights are your greatest training tool. Are they on target? Yes or no. If they are, pull the trigger. If they're not on target, get them on target, then pull the trigger. I mean, that's all shooting is. It's pretty darn simple. We're just trying to do it at the limit of human function.
And there you go. And that's probably the best way to end it right there.
There you go. Yeah, we have been
What a
going on for
great
a
quote
while.
to end it on. Well, Brian, is there anything else you wanted to? Is there anything else about the website we should know, or
Yeah,
anything else you want to bring up?
yeah, hit up the website. There's an email sign up form. Follow me on Instagram. I'm working on growing that thing and putting more and more training tools. I got some pretty cool stuff that I'm trying to get to as quickly as I can. And then I've got the different education, shooting technique, as well as virtual training options available and or coming soon. So if you want to learn from me, I love talking about this stuff. I love training, if that wasn't obvious yet. So I'd love to be able to help all y'all out and hit me up. And I guess that's about it. Lockback.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a fun discussion.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.